Hello, everyone, and thank you for choosing to view our session coming to you recorded from the Matrix. During the past couple of months, I'm sure everyone has learned new skills and new ways to cope with all the transition that we've had. And for a lot of us, that means having to become comfortable with hearing recordings of our voice. So with that in mind, welcome to take 273, just of slide 1 for our presentation. Our presentation today is on our program, Rebuild Your Future, connecting former offenders with the construction industry. My name is Carrie Allman, and today I'll be joined with Tashina Mahatha, and we are excited to share with you information about Rebuild Your Future, which is a community-wide effort to connect justice-involved participants with well-paying jobs with upward mobility in the construction industry. In this presentation, we want to share with you how recruiters in our program have helped by building trusted networks in hard-to-serve communities to reach and influence formerly unserved prospects. So we wanted to share with you some key statistical information that was part of our research in developing this program that also served as a guideline in making sure that we were on the right path for how to connect with the population and find success for them. And the first statistic is that North Carolina's 3-year recidivism rate is 40%. Why is that rate so high? Well, one of the leading factors to recidivism is that our justice involved are employed in low-wage occupations, which make it very hard to sustain a lifestyle and a family. And so in order to reduce that recidivism rate, they're going to have access to those jobs. So when the access to the jobs is part of the discussion, there are really two major areas on why the justice involved are identified as having barriers to employment. One is because of a skill level. 65% of all new jobs require some post-secondary education, and only 22% of the people in the NC State prison system have had at least some post-secondary education. So this definitely has an impact on the justice involved as they are in the application process. It also has an effect because it leads into what they would identify as the leading cause as to why they are unable to obtain high wage occupations, which is in the fact that they realize that 92% of employers conduct criminal background checks. An applicant with a criminal record is 50% less likely to receive a call back. With statistical information like that in mind, partnered with Central Lina Workforce Development Board, Rowan Cabarrus Community College launched the Rebuild Your Future initiative, which is made possible by a $400,000 grant by the NC Works Local Innovation Fund, part of Governor Roy Cooper's NC Job Ready initiative to address workforce challenges for underserved populations and develop talent pools for in-demand occupations. And just for reference, since we're not in person, here are your presenters today, Tashina and myself. In order to connect the justice-involved population to higher wage occupations, in developing this program, we had to be partnered with an industry right for the making, and that is in our area and across the state in the construction industry. And putting all these pieces together, we wanted to come up with a program that was going to have these innovative factors to have the holistic approach on how we will help the justice involved into those occupations. So we can really see that with our 3 top goals, which is number 1, connect the justice involved job seekers and potential students to construction employers in the area. And how we're going to do that is by redefining qualified by showing their skill sets. Provide post-secondary training to justice involved in the light construction industry by offering courses to obtain a constructions trade certification and or a Class B CDL. But in order to make this holistic approach, every individual involved in this program has got to have an awareness and training on the needs and how to best serve the justice involved population. So another part of this Rebuild Your Future program is to train community college and frontline workforce staff to deal with issues faced by the reentry population. So with our funding in place and our goals set, we set up on our construction of the Rebuild Your Future program. And in order for this to be a community-wide effort, we needed to bring the community in from the beginning so that they were there for the beginning, during our program, and for the results. So we started working with our partners, which included all of our partners that we have historically worked with, but it also involved us learning and creating new alliances with partners in our reentry organizations, within our correctional facilities, and with our local law enforcement. The goal was to identify all the resources that were available in an effort to help our partners, but most importantly, help our justice involved in being able to access the services that they needed, and also in learning from those partners what are some success strategies that they've had in working with the justice involved population. Also with that, we pulled in the employers on the front end to learn what is the best way. We're constantly redefining qualified. We wanted to make sure that we learned about the employer's needs from their occupational skills requirements, so that we were addressing that, and additionally that we were identifying what are some of the known barriers that some of our employers have dealt with being connected as an employer with the justice involved community. Knowing that helped us create the pathways for how do we connect and how do we overcome some of those barriers. The next layer to this would be the administrative side on that, which is Rowan Cabarrus Community College and Central Line Workforce Development Board. And as administrators of this program, what we said is we want to find the measure of success for this program, and we believe that that's going to be in how we are able to connect with the community. So we have the great services, we have the partners, there's employment opportunities. What is the secret formula for making sure that we connect and we get this information out and have the pipeline so that the justice involved community was actually taking advantage of these opportunities? And the solution that we came up with through this program is that we were going to hire individuals to work as recruiters for this program. And these recruiters were going to have a unique skill set, that they were going to have connections and availability and a certain understanding of the justice involved community that would help us share the information and get started. The recruiters would have a schedule and would have services available that would help them connect with the justice involved community, and would find an opportunity to meet those individuals within those communities. And that relationship, those recruiters becoming trusted advisors, are the formula that we needed to help them explore how they could transition into those high wage occupations within construction and create and establish more of a comfort in entertaining the thoughts of going into training. So the recruiters followed them through this process and through their training. And the ultimate goal in all of this is that when they would complete their training, they would connect with employment opportunities with our construction industry partners. I am thrilled to be able to introduce you virtually to our dream team, the 3 recruiters who were hired for the Rebuild Your Future program: Dennis Brown, Derek Wilson, and Jessica Coram. They joined our team last year and very quickly became rock stars within our community. As mentioned before, the qualities that we were looking for in hiring these recruiters is that they would offer a unique skill set and experience and connection to the justice involved community. And that is exactly what these 3 offer. Within this team, you have individuals who have been incarcerated. You have individuals who still are dealing with felony convictions on their records. You have within this team individuals that have worked within our local law enforcement offices for 15 plus years. You have such a unique blend of talent here that has proved exceptionally successful in finding the way to relate and connect with the justice involved community. These individuals work very hard. They are located, of course, off-site and within the community. They have traveled to different locations within our counties, met with different organizations, faith-based. They have worked door to door. They have done an amazing job with meeting the justice-involved community where they are. But most importantly, they have worked with establishing a relationship with the justice involved and a relatability with their participants that has established them as trusted advisor and has also set up an opportunity for them to transition them into a classroom, which has been a huge advantage and the exact formula that we needed for success. To learn more about the path of the participant with these recruiters, I'm going to turn the presentation now over to Tashina Mahatha.
As previously stated, Construction Trades is one of the courses offered under the Rebuild Your Future grant. Construction Trades is a 16-week course that introduces students to construction building trades. In this course, students learn about construction safety, proper tool use, carpentry, masonry, cabinetry, drywall, building code and inspections, restoration, estimation, and much more. Students will also receive the National Center for Construction Education and Research core curriculum, which covers basic safety, communication skills, and an introduction to construction drawings. Upon completion of the program, students will be eligible for the certification exam. The other course offered under this grant is the Class B CDL. Our truck driver training program is in partnership with Caldwell Community College. It offers full-time day classes requiring 2.5 weeks to complete. Classes run Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. Upon completion, students obtain their Class B CDL. With this license, students are able to drive commercial vehicles such as straight trucks, large passenger buses, garbage trucks, box trucks for delivery drivers, dump trucks with small trailers, and cement mixers. There is heavy recruiter involvement prior to the class start date. Recruiters assist with gathering the needed documents for both the grant funding process and for meeting class admission requirements. These documents could be anything from birth certificates to proof of selective service, criminal backgrounds, Class B permits, DOT physicals, and DOT drug screenings. They also assist with reducing or eliminating barriers to participation, for example, child care and transportation. To be eligible for enrollment into the class, a student must first hold a valid North Carolina's driver's license with no limiting restrictions. They must also obtain their North Carolina Class B permit, pass a DOT physical, and pass a DOT drug screening. Students are also subject to random drug screenings while in class. Once a student has obtained their Class B permit, the next step is to secure funding. We work closely with our partners at Centralina Workforce, NC Works, and ResCare to secure funding. Once a potential student has obtained their permit, the recruiters make a referral to NC Works. NC Works follows up to start the grant funding process. No student is left behind in this program. If someone doesn't meet the grant qualifications, we will secure funding through one of our scholarship programs here at the college. It is important to note that all associated fees, such as their permit, physical, and drug screening, and license, are reimbursed under the grant. In circumstances where a student is unable to pay up front, Arrangements are made to make the payment up front on their behalf. Although our Class B CDO course is only 2.5 weeks in length, students receive extensive training, which includes classroom, range, and road driving. During the last 2 days of class, we have a third-party tester to come in to administer the CDO road test. These testers automatically turn in the results of the test to the Department of Transportation. All of this is to ensure that we are producing safe and efficient drivers who are able to obtain employment right after their course is completed. As stated before, our goal with this program is not only to ensure that this underserved population has access to training, but also that they are able to secure gainful employment using the credential earned. Therefore, during and after training, we continuously collaborate with our employer partners. We do this by inviting them to come to our classes to talk to our students about employment opportunities, the benefits with their companies, and basically anything that a student might be interested in finding out. We also connect with employers as our students apply to jobs within their companies and speak to them on the behalf of students. We continuously expand our network. That means that we continuously add new companies to the list of the ones that we are dealing with. We continuously market the grants, our students, and all the benefits that come with hiring someone from this population. We also ensure that we equip students with the necessary tools to not only obtain employment, but to sustain employment. This next slide, entitled Construction Delays, has to do with the challenges that we face while working with the justice involved. One of the challenges has been awareness and attainment of personal identification materials. These are items that are needed either for the grant process, for pre-employment, or employment. They can include things like birth certificates, social security cards, their in and out-of-state criminal backgrounds. We've also ran into a lot of individuals who never applied for selective service. This could be due to the fact that they were incarcerated at the time that these documents should have been filled out, or maybe they stopped short in their education and never filled out the selective service. A combination of these items can take weeks or months for us to help them together. So not all students are able to just go directly into the class. We may have to work with them for an extended period of time to make sure that they gather all the documents needed. Another challenge has been identification and utilization of supportive community services. This grant can't help with probation needs or family issues, disabilities, and things like that. However, these issues have come into play. Our community partners play a vital role in the success in helping us to reduce or eliminate barriers to participation. Some of the things that we have encountered have included things like child care, transportation, and housing. So for those things, we really rely on our community partnerships in order to help to get these things figured out. When it comes to workplace readiness or soft skills, basic skills assessments and upgrading, we utilize R3 services. For example, we often run into students who are unable to obtain their Class B permit. This is usually one of our first signs that there are some educational gaps. Once referred to the R3 team, potential students are able to access CRC practice material and other studying material, which has proven to greatly increase their reading and comprehension skills. These are vital so that they can keep up in class. Most of the soft skills are addressed during the class. Instructors treat the classroom as if it is a place of employment. There are no excused absences. They are docked for arriving late and leaving early, and participation is a must. During quarantine periods and closed facilities, recruiters have continued to work with participants. They are still networking with employers and connecting with graduates to ensure that they are either obtaining or sustaining employment. They are still recruiting new students and helping them to navigate through the barriers of participation. We are extremely happy that 0% recidivism has been reported. COVID-19 has affected our trainings. The construction trades course is currently unable to run due to the required hands-on components. Hands-on experience is critical to students wanting to enter this field. Class B CDL training has resumed with a few changes to minimize student contact and exposure to others. This concludes our presentation. Thank you all for attending our session. If you have any questions or need clarification on anything that we have discussed, please feel free to contact either Carrie or I. Thanks again.